Hi, this is our sixth lesson, quiz 6 on using quizzes to learn VBA. And what we're going to do in this session is to include a report card with the quiz in order to demonstrate communicating with the spreadsheet from VBA. So as usual, I've created and saved a blank spreadsheet called quiz 6. And what I'm going to do first is just to put in a second tab. And I'm going to right click and rename the second tab, and I'm going to call it the results page. Now in the results page we're going to do a 3-question quiz. Obviously you might want to do more. We're going to have the question number, we're going to have the question itself, like what is 3 times 9. Then we're going to have your answer, and then we're going to have the result, whether it was right or wrong. Now the question number is only going to be small, so as long as I can read it, that's fine. The question is going to be what is such and such times such and such, so it's a bit bigger. Your answer, whatever you said, and a result. And because it's going to do a 3-question quiz, the table is going to look something like that. Now you probably want to do a 10-question quiz and so on, but as I've said, and then as I've said, always do it for a small number first until it's all working. Okay, and the score is going to be in that box there. So that's what we'd like to do. Now, when we're talking to the spreadsheet about cells, we're looking at the sheet called results. And notice that question number 1 is going to go on line 2. Question number 2 is going to go on line 3. Question number 3 is going to go on line 4. So whatever the question number is, the line number, the row number, is one more than that. So question 1 on line 2, question 2 on line 3, question 3. Now when we refer to cells, we first of all say how far down it is, and then how far across it is. So this is going to question, we're going to put 1 and 2 down and 1 across. We're going to put question 1 and 2 down and 2 across. We're going to put your answer and so on. So remember, whatever the question number is plus 1 is how far down we are. Okay, so let's go and do some, I'll just make all of that center justified, and that looks better if it's right justified. Now obviously we could pretty that up, we're just interested in how to do it. So let's go to the coding view, and we'll go to the project, which is the whole thing that we're doing. We right click on that, and we're going to insert a module. Now we'll do the simplest possible quiz, so we're going to do sub quiz 6. And we're going to say make up 2 numbers. So the first number we'll call my A equals a rand. Now that's going to give a small decimal, so if we do 12 times that, that's going to give a big decimal. And if we do the integer part of that, that's, oops, don't know why I put a 0 in there. If we do the integer part of that, that's going to give us a number from 0 to 11. Because I don't like noughts, I'm going to add 1, so that's going to give us a number from 1 to 12. Now for part B, so for number B, we'll do the same thing. And that gives us 2 numbers. And we'll just put the question together here. And the question is going to be, what is? And then I'm going to put my A, and let's do times, and my B. Okay, and then we're going to message box my question. Okay, so let's just run that and check it's all working. What's 9 times 7? And so on. Okay. Now, we're getting the numbers working all right. So, what we're going to do now is to say my answer. So, whatever you type, I'm going to put down on a little whiteboard that I call my answer board. And it's going to be my question. So I'll just try that's working. What's 7 times 4? 28. Okay. Now, I'd like to do all of this 3 times. So instead of using I, which is sort of convention, we're going to do for question number equals 1 to 3. And then we're going to do all of that. So I'm just going to move it to the right to remind myself that it's inside the loop. And then we'll do the next question number. So that should give us 3 questions. We haven't done all the answer checking bit yet. So 40, I'll just get the rest wrong, 9, 9. Okay. So now we're going to do the checking bit. Now, I'll not bother commenting this up because if you've reached here, you already know how to do that. But whenever you're doing quizzes with numbers in, it's best to tell the program that they're integers. Now, I've been using capitals for them, so VBA ignores capitals, but it makes it more readable. And I also better dim my answer as integer. Okay. So, in this loop of 3, we make up the question. And then, oops, we then say if my answer equals my A times my B, then message box, right, capital Arden. Or else, message box. Now, because that's within the if statement, we should really move that across with the tab. And then we can check that remains us to put in the end if. So let's just check that it's working. 1 times 5 we'll say is 7, just to check that getting it wrong works. 110 and 60. Okay, so that's all working all right. So what we wanted to do here was to keep a record of the quiz itself on the sheet. So as we go through, we're going to say make sure that the sheet we're working with is the one called results. And that statement just means that the program is looking at the results sheet. Now, question number 1 is going to go in row 2. So we're going to say the cell that we want, so that's the cells command, is 1 more than the question number down. So question number 1, we want 2, question number 2, we want 3. And then the first one across is going to equal the question number. So let's run that. What's 1 times 11? 11. Correct. What's 5 times 12? 60. Correct. What's 7 times 10? 70. Great. And it's put the question number in for us. Okay. Now I'll just delete that. And go back to the code again with Alt F11. Then we wanted cells, whatever the question number was, down, plus an extra one. And then in position 2, that was going to be my question. And then cells, question number plus 1, 3 was going to be my answer. Okay, so let's just run that. F5. What is 1 times 8? 8. What is 6 times 4? 24. What is 8 times 8? 64. And so on. Okay. Now we'll deal with clearing this out later, but for now I'll just clear it out so that we can see what's happening more easily. Now we haven't put in the result right or wrong, so instead of doing message box, we're going to put the answer straight on the sheet. So what we're going to do here is put cells question number plus 1, 4 equals right, instead of giving the user the answer in a message box. Now, what if it's somebody thinks happens so that we're not looking at the results sheet anymore? Well, we better make sure we're looking at the results sheet. So we'll do sheets results dot cells. Oops. So can you see that here I'm typing it all into one command, whereas down here I've said make sure we're looking at the sheet's results with select, and then these know it's within the results sheet. Okay, and if it's wrong, we're going to do that equals wrong. Not the best bit of cutting and pasting I've ever seen. Okay. So let's run that. What's 4 times 4? 16. And it's populated out. What's 10 times 10? Well, let's get one wrong. And 8 times 12, 96. And get that right. Okay. Now all we've got to do now is to do the score. So at the start we'll say score, my score equals 0, and each time we get one right we'll increase the score. So my score equals my score plus 1, and at the very end when we've finished doing the questions we'll do cells 5 down and 1, 2, 3, 4 across equals my score. Okay, now I'm going to wipe this out just so we can see clearly what's happening. And let's just run it and check it's working okay. So 33, 108, we'll get this one wrong, 33, and the score is 2. Okay. So, just one more thing to finish this off, and that is wiping out the score. So, you need to make sure that you've got the developer option on your toolbar, and that we're going to look at the record macro part of that. So if that's not there, if you go to File and then Options, and then look down here for Customize Ribbon, you need to make sure that this one here is selected. Okay, now I'm just going to cancel because it's already done on mine. So we can either do Developer Record Macro, or in the bottom left hand corner here we can just do that, and that way we don't have to change the menu, we just click on that. Okay. And we'll call the macro Clear Up, because it's going to clear up the thing for us. Okay, so I'm going to clear up that, and then I'm going to clear out that. And then I'm going to stop recording the macro with the thing on the bottom left. Now what that's done is, if I go to module 2, it's done a sub called Clear Up. So that's selects the range there and clears it out, and then selects the range there and clears it out. Okay, so only problem with that macro is because I started on a result sheet, it didn't formally select it, so I'm just going to make sure that sheets, isn't it? That this specifically says, even if he's not looking at the result sheet when he does this, make sure you go to the result sheet to do the clearing out. And now when I do my program, well, let's run it. I can start off by saying clear out. So if it's got some old stuff in here, okay, from the previous user, when I first run it, oh, what did I call it? I called it clear up. You see it's wiped out the previous ones before it runs the quiz. Okay, so that's 24, let's get the next two wrong. Okay, so that's it, the program's all working. And each time we run it, it clears out the previous ones before it starts. I get these wrong again. Okay, now this record macro is really useful, because if you don't know how to do something in VBA but you do know how to do it in Excel, you can just do it and have it record the code for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this window here, and I'm going to make the spreadsheet window here, and I'm going to re-record this as clear up 2. Okay, same thing but clear up 2, only I'm going to start from sheet 1 this time. Okay, so I'm going to go to record macro, so record macros in the bottom, and the macro is going to be clear up 2. And we can see it building as I do things. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the results tab. Then I'm going to, I'll do it a slightly different way this time. I'm going to delete the first line. Then I'm going to delete the second time, and you can watch the code build as you do it. And then I'm going to delete the third line. And, sorry, wrong one. And then I'm going to delete the score. And then I'm going to say, this is a macro recording. Okay, and then I'm going to delete that as well. And then I'm going to say stop recording. Okay, so we'll just quickly go back to the main module. We don't need any of this because it's just what we've already done, but that's a very useful thing. We'll just have a quick last run of the program and then we're done. What's 4 times 12? 48. What's 12 times 5? Let's get this one wrong, 44. And what's 4 times 2? Let's get this one wrong as well, 44. Okay, and that's our working sheet. Now it's just as easy to read data from the spreadsheet into your program by using the cells command the other way around. For example, question number equals what's in the cells instead of that way around. Thank you very much. That's the end of the session.